Welcome to the Starting Monday podcast, the podcast for anyone who has a habit of delaying their health and fitness goals, who struggles to build consistency, or just doesn't know where to start. Have you ever said the phrase, "I'll start Monday"? If so, this is the podcast for you. Now, let's welcome the hosts, experienced personal trainers, and all-around good guys, Barry Stephen and Matthew Percival.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Starting Monday podcast with me, Matthew Percival, and Barry Stephen. And today we're going to be going through the questions you guys have asked through Instagram, wasn't it? We put it on Instagram, and we're going to answer some of your interesting questions you've got for us.
Yeah, Instagram, and also maybe just people that know us in the gym and things like that. Just put some questions forward. So we're going to do our best and answer them.
Yeah.
Some really good ones.
But we're going to start off with our new intro, aren't we? Where we do a question to each other. And Barry has got his one first.
Okay, Matthew, if you could have dinner with 3 famous people, and they have to be famous, celebrities, who would they be?
Can they alive or dead, or both?
It can be alive or dead.
Alive or dead? And this is interesting. So, what's your classification of a celebrity? Just like well known?
Yeah, like
super well known.
Basically, anyone that is like
famous.
You can choose anyone. If you want your Z-lister, you put your Z-lister in.
All right, cool. So I would have dinner with Paul Scholes.
Oh, nice.
Because he's one of my heroes. I love him as a football player.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Because he's very famous.
Yeah.
He's been famous for thousands of years.
So Paul Scholes, and then Jesus Christ.
Steve Jobs.
And Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. I'd be interested to see what he has on business and all that. He's very good at selling himself. What about yourself? What are your 3?
That is a cool 3.
I know, it's good, isn't it? To be fair, I had in my head, I had someone else instead of Jesus Christ, but after you weren't really specific on the famous, I was like, oh God, let's meet Jesus and see what he's got to say for himself. I'm going to give him a bottle of water and see if he can turn it into wine.
Well, that would be interesting. Right, yeah. For me, I would have Sir Alex Ferguson.
Bore. All right, next.
Come on, man. The one and only.
I would go for Brian Clough over Alex Ferguson.
I couldn't not choose him. I'd have Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais, really?
I think we need somebody funny there. You know
that's good, actually. That'll make your dinner way more interesting.
Yeah. Fergie,
mine's going to be pretty dull.
Well, Fergie will have a lot of good chat, a lot of good stories. And then
he's getting on a bit, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's still got it.
Still a bit witty, yeah? All right, cool.
Ricky's going to bring the banter and the humour.
Yeah.
We need somebody female,
Okay, yeah.
Just to balance out a little bit.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts.
That's such a weird dinner. Ricky Gervais, Julia Roberts.
You've got Paul Scholes,
Alex Ferguson.
Jesus Christ, and Steve Jobs. Right?
Yeah,
To be fair, I think that dinner's probably going to end up being pretty good.
I think it's going to be pretty dull. Paul Scholes has no chat whatsoever. Jesus Christ, I can't imagine he's going to be the best to chat to either. He might tell me some garbage he's been up to. And then Steve Jobs, he's an interesting character.
I think my 3 beat your 3.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Fine.
Yeah,
fine.
thank you.
Fine.
Right. What's your question?
My question is, what's your biggest pet peeve in the gym in terms of training? Okay, so what annoys you the most in the gym from people training?
So specific to training?
Specific to training.
I would probably have to say people that cut corners with their exercises or their training. So basically, they do things half-heart. They do like half reps, or they go too heavy and let their ego take over because they want to look good in front of people or whatever, rather than doing things correctly.
Ego lifting is your biggest one.
I would say so, yeah.
So you tell me you've never ego lifted in the gym before?
Of course I have. I'm not saying I don't do it.
To be fair,
haven't done it.
It is the worst. It is the worst, especially when it's like a group and they're all trying to outlift each other.
Yeah, and also they're setting back their own progress as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the sake of a little bit of looking good in front of your pals, or if it's going on social media or whatever. But
I would say I would have to go with
cutting corners with exercises. Do things right.
Yeah, fair.
Which usually means do things a tad lighter than you would probably want to do.
Yeah, probably. I would say my worst is people who wear so much equipment for exercise they don't need it. You ever seen that?
Like me with my bench press.
There was he's a nice lad, to be fair, really nice lad. But he was squatting, and he had knee sleeves, wrist wraps, elbow sleeves, a belt, shoes, and I'm sure he had something else as well. And I was like, how much kit can you put on yourself?
He's just made himself 10 times heavier.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, he's obviously just ordered it all online and given it a shot, but hats off to him. He's a nice lad.
As long as he's a nice lad, that's all.
Exactly. So what are we getting into?
Well, I'll go through the questions, Matthew. First question, how long should I work out for?
Oh, time. Like how long? How long do you work out for?
I would say roughly an hour. Roughly an hour.
Yeah.
I think optimal, I think you're talking, 30 minutes of intense work up to maybe an hour.
Yeah,
Tops.
I probably agree. And it depends if you like your warm up and you're like,
Yeah.
if you do anything at the end, like a bit of conditioning or cardio or something like that,
But I think if you can get your whole workout into maybe an hour and a half at the absolute maximum, if that's maybe like, the type of stuff that you do, like, a lot of heavy work, strength work, it does take longer. Yeah.
I would say, but I can squeeze it into an hour. If I'm being efficient, I can get an hour, but I usually take about an hour and a half when I train.
You do rattle through your workouts.
I try to.
For a heavy lifter.
Yeah, I don't like messing about these days.
Like I was sweating buckets doing some of those sets.
Yeah, you always
30-second rest.
I need a rest.
So what are we saying? Just 30
an hour to
60
an hour and a
minutes?
half. Yeah.
An hour and a half is maybe too much for.
Yeah, but it depends on the person, right? Depends on what training you're doing. So I would say optimally for most people, it's probably like an hour spot on.
Yeah.
But some people can't manage that, so less, like 45 minutes is all right. 30 minutes.
If you think of a PT session, I mean it's an hour.
Yeah.
and they get a perfect workout. They get a really good
spot
workout.
on, yeah. It's like a flat number. Isn't
Usually we're like 10 minute, loosener, 5-10 minutes at the start warming up, and then straight into a hard 50 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes. That's probably perfect.
Yeah, normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
How do I know what weight to lift? This isn't actually a question that somebody asked me, but it's a common question.
He's making up questions,
No,
guys.
I'll let you know the ones that are made up. This one's made up. But, if I put out quite commonly I'll give a program out and I never tell people what weights they should be lifting. Unless it's like a proper strength based thing, and we know a lot of the 1 rep maxes and percentages and things like that. But a lot of the time, it's just a general workout. What weight should I be lifting for this? What weight should I be lifting for that? And it basically goes back to speaking about rep ranges and the intensity for each rep range. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to lift if it says 10 reps. Lift a weight that challenges you over 10 reps. It's not a weight that you could potentially do for, say, 20 reps, or 15 to 20 reps. Get a weight that keeps you close to that rep range. I know we've spoke about keeping reps in reserve and things like that, and that's good, but you kind of want to keep the intensities similar to the rep ranges, don't you?
Yeah, 100%, yeah. I would say for me, what I say to most of my clients is we do usually 4 or 5 week blocks. I say by the end of this, what's the best, like the heaviest weight you could probably get to? Gun to your head, you're doing 3 sets, you can't do any more. You can't do 3 sets of 10, let's say, for dumbbell bench press. 25s are max. They would die if they did 3 sets of 10 with 25. Okay, that's your week 1. Now your week 4 or week 5, your final week. So what's your week 1, your week 2, your week 3? How are you building up to that point? And that's what I basically coach most of my people. Unless, as you said, you use percentages, in which case you can kind of like pre-plan all the weights for them. But ideally, at the end of the block, what's the maximum you could lift? Okay, cool. Then reduce that. Where are we going to get to? So if it's 100 kilo bench by week 4, week 1's 85, and then it's 90, then it's 95, then it's 100 on that final week.
And once you've got a bit of experience in the gym and you've done a few programs and you've maybe got at least a year under your belt, you should have a good idea of what you're lifting for most exercises.
And what's going to be really hard for you, what's going to be difficult.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
Did you make this one up as well? Or just...
No, I didn't.
Oh, good.
What should I do about muscle soreness, or how can I improve muscle soreness, DOMS?
How can I improve muscle soreness?
Is it, I came up with something here.
What did you say?
I came up with a little...
Lather yourself in deep heat.
I came up with a little acronym. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, an acronym, yeah.
So it's SHIFT. So you want to shift that muscle soreness. S is for sleep.
Okay. This is so cringy, by the way.
I know.
I hate this.
H, hydrate.
Yeah.
I is intensity. So you know, obviously got to work it to the right intensity and not, you know, do too much volume for, you know, that you can handle, or too much weight that you can handle.
Yeah, what's the F?
Food.
Yeah, don't forget to eat food.
You got to eat plenty of food to help your recovery.
This is the worst.
Loads of protein.
This is the worst.
And tea.
Time.
Thank you.
I knew it was coming. I think DOMS is like, again, I only get if I like change a program or I'm really pushing myself.
Yeah.
They just go. Just keep moving. Like, don't stop exercising. People like get really bad like legs. Oh, my legs are in agony. I'm just gonna sit down all day. You need blood flow to get nutrients to recover. So like, just keep moving. Stay active.
Yeah, going for a walk. A day when you are feeling a little bit domed up.
But W's not obviously in shift, so
I could shoehorn that in somewhere. We could change it.
What if you got DOMS in your arms? Just walk on your arms.
Well,
That's the solution. I like this, by the way, guys. I'm not going to lie. I planned very minimally today, and Barry's been.
I'm helping you out, mate.
Barry's been sitting here writing down acronyms. What's our next one? Go on, next question.
I can't even say it. What is the best time to work out? Someone did ask.
That's a hard question, to be fair. That's a really hard question.
Or somebody asked this question that works out in the morning and is, you know, potentially concerned that they're not working out at the right time when their goals are to build strength.
Yeah, I probably agree with that, to be fair. But like, you got to work out when you can manage it as well. So when can you commit the time to it is the big one. Like I think you're probably the same. We have the flexibility that we work in the gym. To be fair, we're probably both there quite long hours, but we can work out usually in the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
So for me, that's perfect.
Yeah.
We're lucky in that sense.
Yeah.
We might be in the gym for 12 hours a day, but at least we can work out when we want to, where it's quieter. And then like, I like to have lunch and then train. I think that's perfect for me. So at like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. is usually when I train. But yeah, if you can't, I've got clients and they can't manage coming in later. They can't manage the evenings. Obviously they're working. So they come in at like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. And it's a graft. It's hard. I find it a lot harder. But then if you prioritize sleep, make sure you're hydrated before you come, and you should be all right.
Well, convenience is the most important thing. You've got to work out at a time that really suits your work, your lifestyle. There's no point in you exercising later on in the day because you've read somewhere that it's slightly better for you for strength gains if it's not something that you can commit to.
Yeah, then you only have 30 minutes some nights. You can't manage all your workout, you know.
I mean, the benefits to maybe working out later in the day are the fact that you've probably had a couple of meals, you've got more fuel in your body, you've got more energy there to use.
I'll tell you what I did recently that was crazy, but this is good actually, good content. I worked out on Friday at 10 p.m. at night.
How did you find that?
Horrible.
Because I think sometimes it
was horrible.
It's too late, right?
No, I could, but I had worked, so I'd literally worked 14 hours flat. So I had time for lunch, my dinner, etc.
Commitment,
I hadn't left. I got on at 8 a.m. and I worked till 10 p.m. All right. And then I was like, but I need to train. I didn't have time to train today at all. So I was like, you know what, I'll train. And I wouldn't say I loved it, but it was all right. But I didn't sleep till like half 12, 1 a.m. I was like still wide awake. Yeah. Luckily I was off on the Saturday, but not ideal.
The cons to training at night are that it could disrupt your sleep, especially, especially if you're taking caffeine before it. That's just going to mess you up. But I guess if you do it on a regular basis, you get used to it. Just like getting up in the morning, you're going to get used to it. But your body temperature does increase as you go through the day. You're obviously going to eat. You're going to get more energy in your body.
Let's talk about body temperature.
So there's but it's a better time to basically be lifting heavy weights, you know, than first thing in the morning. But to be honest with you, if training in the morning is most suitable for your schedule, then you're spitting feathers. It doesn't really matter.
Have you trained at 6 a.m.?
I have, yeah. I don't like it. No, don't like it.
I tried so many times, and
because you can't get a lot of food in before a 6 a.m. session.
I do like the first exercise, and I'm like, oh god, like how much have I got left?
I'm not particularly great.
It takes me so much longer as well. Not for me. Hats off to anyone, by the way, who's listening who trains at like any time from pre 9 a.m. Oh God, I wish I was you. I wish I could manage. It's impressive.
How often should I change my workout routine?
Every day. Actually, you know what? Change it 20 minutes into your session. Change it straight away. What would you recommend, Barry? When do you change your program?
I would say it probably quite varies. So I would say no sooner than 4 weeks, but maybe at a maximum, say 8 weeks, 4 to 8 weeks. I think that's a good
It depends
number.
on the person,
I know it's a
right?
big number, 48, but I think most people
48 every 48 weeks. Almost
4
every
to
year.
8.
Yeah, I change my clients' programs probably like every 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Okay.
But then sometimes depends on the movement. If there's a movement in there we're working on, that will stay in, you know? So if I've got like accessory lifts that are just getting used to, that would stay in. So not everything has to change all the time.
The more advanced you are, the more consistent you are. I think 4 weeks is probably more doable. But if
but
you're
then
not
there's also
that,
consistency through the programs, you know what I mean? So it's like you're changing things, but
yeah,
there's not been massive changes, slight changes.
and subtle changes could be, you know, tweaking rep ranges or just tweaking 1 or 2 movements.
Yeah.
And just little things like that, varying it up, it makes the program feel a lot different.
Yeah, people feel like they've got to change everything.
Don't
Change
do that.
everything.
Don't do
Every
that.
rep range, everything. No, you don't.
Because I think if you keep an exercise in there for say 3 to 6 months, you're going to get really good at that exercise. You're going to understand it a lot better.
Yeah.
Connect with it more. So
Yeah. So if you put an exercise just for a couple of weeks, you're not going to manage to really improve it.
No,
you
not
haven't
at
done
all.
it for ages. You got to just threw it in. So yeah, I completely agree. What we got next? What's our next question?
should I weigh myself? If so, how often? I'm guessing that the goal here is weight loss.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It depends on
What
the
would you say?
person. So I know people who are like, obviously, like usually like natural bodybuilders, right? They weigh themselves like every morning, take weekly averages, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends emotionally as well. What can you manage? Like, if you step on the scales and you've gone up slightly, and that's going to ruin your day or ruin your week, then don't do it. Don't do it that often.
Yeah.
Wait for a bigger change to happen. So like, God, every couple of weeks, or every week, or every month, whatever. I go through all the spectrum. Depends on completely who you are.
Well, I've done a bit of everything. I've weighed myself every day, taken the averages. I've done that with clients. I've done weekly weigh-ins, fortnightly weigh-ins, monthly weigh-ins. I think the most important thing is if your goal's weight loss, you need to track your weight, you know, somehow. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be every day, and especially not every day. Like you said, if you're the type of person that freaks out because your weight's going up and down, as it's going to go up and down, it's natural. But I would just say don't not weigh yourself. Because you're just sort of burying your head
Well,
in
it
the
depends.
sand.
You need some sort of measurement, right? So you
You
don't
do.
have to weigh. You could do like hip and waist and all that. If you really didn't, like if you look at the scales and it throws you off completely.
Yeah.
I've got one client who does daily and has a whole spreadsheet for taking it. It's quite cool, actually. So hats off to him. But apart from him, I've never really had anyone else who's done daily weigh-ins. So usually it's like every week or 2 weeks, I would say, on average.
Well, the benefit of maybe doing it daily is that if you did it every 7 days, you know, sometimes you'll
you still get
you'll
that
fluctuate.
fluctuation, right?
Yeah, you'll
Yeah,
fluctuate, and it might just make you think that you aren't actually progressing when you are. When the day before you were maybe lighter than you were last week.
Yeah, exactly. Spot on.
But yeah,
I think
it's a tough
the
one.
answer is emotionally, what can you manage to do?
Mm-hmm.
If the more frequently you're happy with, then that's good. But you need to be okay with the fluctuation and just accept it and move on.
Is deadlifting worth the risk? Stroke reward. This was a question from
staying quiet.
someone on Instagram.
I'm leaving this question purely to Barry. What do you think, Barry?
Well, I would say yes, it is. I love deadlifting. I think it's a good exercise.
Terrible question. Who asked it?
We confirmed that last episode, really, didn't we? Like we said in the previous episode, if you learn how to do things correctly, and you're able to do a deadlift with good form, then of course it is. You're gonna.
Yeah, I think the main the question's more towards bodybuilding, right? So people who are like bodybuilding based are like, oh, is it really worth the bang for the buck? You know, there's injury risk with deadlift because it's a heavy weight. It's probably the heaviest lift you'll do. So is it worth doing it to, let's say, develop your hamstrings? I'd probably say no, not necessity, but there's loads of deadlift variations, so you're writing them off.
An RDL or a straight leg.
Yeah, so
deadlift.
like you could do a Romanian deadlift to target your hamstrings more.
That would be
Like a deadlift,
better.
You'll fatigue your body prior to fatiguing a muscle group. I've never deadlifted and gone, oh my God, my hamstrings are burning afterwards. You know what I mean? Or my glutes or my quads are really sore. It's just, I can't lift the weight anymore. The fatigue's too high. Everything can't manage. So is an RDL or a good morning or a stiff leg, as you said, better for developing hamstrings, glutes, things like that? 100%, yeah. I probably would agree with that, but I think it's a great movement that you shouldn't neglect. And it's good for building overall strength, so it can transfer.
If you, here's one for you, Matthew. You can answer this one.
Yeah, go on.
If you have the opportunity to time travel to PT yourself when you first started, would you take it?
No.
Tell us why.
It's actually a great question, because I would love for me to know more when I was getting into training. I would love it.
Because that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I was thinking
we wouldn't listen, Barry.
Would we not?
We wouldn't listen. You weren't even training legs. Imagine Barry walks up to Barry back then and goes, "Oh, Barry, you should start training legs, aye?" And you'd go, "Nah." I prefer doing curls, mate. You'd go, that would be your conversation. And then you'd have to time travel all the way back to the future. What a waste of your time. What a waste. I would love to say yes, but no, I wouldn't listen.
I believe that as well.
So you guys should listen to us, but it is bad because people do get stuck in their ways right now. I was most definitely stuck in my ways. Like, I trained way too hard for a lot of my training years.
What's different about your training now to back then?
I prioritize sleep, recovery, and I don't overdo things. Back then I was like, it's like you got to hit your chest from every angle humanly possible. I'm doing like 10 chest exercises. What am I doing?
Are we not sleeping?
And my sleep was terrible.
I think I slept more when I was younger because you go for naps and stuff like that. But you're drinking.
Go for naps.
Yeah.
To be fair, I miss napping.
Yeah, I do miss napping. Do you not nap?
Yeah, I did. But I think when I first got into PT, I worked quite a lot as well. You know what I mean? Like, did a lot of hours. So my sleep back then was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But these days, I get about 7-8 hours a night. It's good. I feel fantastic.
So we're saying that we wouldn't go back in time. I think I'd
not because it
agree
wouldn't be
with
a good
that.
idea and that we don't know a lot, but the past us are too arrogant and too stupid to listen. I'm speaking for myself, Barry. What are you saying?
But you're saying then that if there's a young lad that's maybe wanting a personal training or getting the knowledge, don't do it.
No, invest in someone else. So the difference is, if you're looking for help, like, for example, if you're listening to this podcast or you're like going to a PT and you're asking the questions, that means you're looking for help. I wouldn't say back then I was looking for help. I was on bodybuilding.com listening to a bunch of fitness models and going, that's what I'm doing. I wasn't listening to anyone else. So if you're out there looking for help, that is fantastic. You should listen. But back then, 18, 19-year-old me? Yeah, he wasn't listening.
How many warm-up sets then, Matthew, should we be doing before a working set?
Oh, that's a really hard question.
Well, let's put it into
depends
two
what
different
weight
examples.
you're lifting, right?
Yeah, so like let's look at someone that's lifting a heavy back squat or heavy weights.
What's the weight?
5 reppers or something.
What's
like
the
that.
weight that we need to? What's the weight? What are we building up to?
Yeah, if it's a big weight, then it's going to require more warm-up sets. That's what we're saying.
Spot on.
If it's a light weight, then we're going to get there pretty quickly with a couple of warm-up
So if I was
sets.
say, for example, I'm going to go into the gym and do a heavy single.
Yeah.
I did one last week, I did 180, I think. And I start with the bar. So I did bar, I did 60, I did 90, I did 110, I did 130, I did 150, I did 160.
Yeah, but tell us,
you know what I mean? So
tell us
you
what reps
build
you
up.
did for them as well, because I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, but I don't pre-plan it.
Just
I
go
go
with
by
feel.
feeling. Yeah. So it's like a couple reps. Usually, like, especially when you're getting towards your working set, you're just getting a feel for the weights,
Yeah.
I would say. So it's like loading your central nervous system. So just getting a feel for the weights, understanding the weights, rather than like doing the max set. So for example, if I'm doing a top set of 8, I'm not warming up all the way with 8s.
No. You're never fatiguing on any of those warm-up sets as well. You don't want to
that's the thing, right?
Pushing the volume on those warm-up sets.
If you're doing a set of 8, I say your plan's 8 at 180 for a squat because it's quite heavy. You're not going to do a set of 8 at 160 because that's pretty close to that weight.
Were you doing 8 at 180?
I did 180 for a single. I didn't do it for 8. Come on. Why is that? Come on, bloody hell.
Yeah, I mean, just doing 1 or 2 reps at each weight just helps prime you for those big.
The lighter weights, I do a few more reps.
Yeah.
So a couple more. So if you're like, for example, doing a dumbbell bench press with 10 kilo dumbbells, I would maybe just do a couple sets with the 5s first, like 2 sets with the 5s, just get a feel for it, and then maybe do a set with the 8s, get a feel for that weight, and then jump to the 10. Bang, done. So that's like 3 warm-up sets.
Yeah. And for a lot of the accessory work that we're doing, maybe in the 8 to 12 rep range or on machines and things like that, maybe one warm-up set, or use your first set as a build up to a more intense second and third set. Yeah.
Again, depends what you've already done as well, doesn't it? So like if you've already been doing loads of chest exercises and you've got another chest exercise, you're not going to do a massive build-up to get warm, are you? It's going to get involved.
Yeah. This one's for you, Matthew.
Yeah.
To clean or dirty bulk? Question. Positives and negatives
This is bad.
to both. So maybe we should...
My answer's terrible.
Maybe we should explain what I think the person means by clean and dirty.
A clean bulk would be like, so your goal is to gain weight and obviously build muscle mass maybe. Usually that's why people bulk.
But minimal fat gain.
Yeah, minimal fat gain. So you might be increasing your calories by, say, 200. So you're gradually gaining weight, but you're not excessively gaining weight.
Okay, positives to that?
Positive to that, it's the best way to do it. It's the best way to bulk. It's a clean bulk. But a dirty bulk is where you just lose all grip on reality and just eat everything.
And you just go nuts.
Just go crazy. Just like
Deliveroo every night.
Exactly. And you're like, you know what? There's a yum yum over there. I'm bulking. It's fine. It's fine. Oh yeah, Krispy Kreme donuts. Yeah, but I'm bulking, so it's fine. Oh no, I can have a burger. I'm bulking. That's a dirty bulk.
So a dirty bulk is basically eating whatever you like, thinking that.
Well, you're still. I would say, for example, I've done both. To be fair, I like a dirty bulk over a clean bulk. I'll always hit my protein, so I'll always have the goal of my protein. But apart from that,
but you're just consuming too much energy, and you're gaining fat too quickly.
Yeah, usually your fat content's through the roof, right?
Yeah,
because you're eating just filth, things you should definitely not be eating in large quantities, like Ben and Jerry's ice cream, crisps. What else we got? Chips, all that sort of stuff. Donuts. I've done it. It's horrible to be fair. Again, if you're bulking, the 200 calories, 300 calorie excess.
You've got to be really patient when you're bulking.
And it's
You've
hard.
Really got to be patient.
And then usually your carbohydrates should be higher, not your fat content. Your fat content should be controlled.
Yeah.
And your carbs should be slightly higher. And again, if you've just cut, your protein might actually come down slightly because you won't need as much protein if you're bulking because you've got an excess of calories, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but yeah, clean bulking's smart. Dirty bulking's way more fun.
Okay, next up. When I log my workouts into MyFitnessPal, it says I can eat back the calories burned. Should I do this?
You've got a great answer to this, Barry.
Well, the answer is no. Usually because when you've calculated your calorie intake for your deficit, whether you've done it through MyFitnessPal or maybe you've been to a personal trainer or you've used a calculator online and you figured out that number, usually it takes into account, it asks you the question how many times you're training a week. You've maybe ticked the 3 to 5 box. So it's already taken into account that you are doing X amount of training sessions per week, and it's gave you a number that is suitable for you, hopefully to be in a calorie deficit and lose weight. So if you start eating back those calories that MyFitnessPal have basically estimated through
you're suddenly bulking
through your workouts, then you're probably over-consuming, and you'll know if you're over-consuming because your progress is maybe stalling. If your progress isn't stalling, then maybe it's fine, and you were under-consuming in the first place. But majority of the time, I would tell people to ignore this and don't consume those extra calories.
Don't even input it. Yeah, just keep it out.
Because also, I think it will also overestimate the actual calories that you have burned in these workouts as well, and we are bad for underestimating what we actually consume as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to keep it as accurate as possible, just don't.
I think it's tough as well that your calories that you can eat every day are changing. You know what I mean? So if you have a really big workout one day, I can eat more, and the next day, no, I can eat less, and it becomes very hard to get good habits and that sort of stuff because one day your day is completely different because you're suddenly eating 2,800 calories rather than 2,200 calories because you had a really big workout that day. So
the exception might be somebody who is doing like a lot of long distance training, like running or cycling, where they're out on the bike for a good amount of time, doing a lot of miles or things like that. But we're speaking to your sort of everyday gym goer who's looking to lose weight and tracking their food, right? Cool. We're getting towards the end here, Matthew.
I know.
14th question, I think it is.
14th, jeez.
How do you stay motivated?
How do I stay motivated?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I don't. It's a good question. I think the answer is it's like, we spoke about it before, it's like habit building, etc., that sort of stuff. More than motivation. Again, I would be motivated if I had a day off. I'm like, and I've got a training session that day, I'm like, yeah, let's go, let's have some fun. But if I'm working, it is a bit of a graft. It is a bit of a slog sometimes.
I'm going through a period, I think, just now that I'm not that motivated.
Yeah, you've been wimping it.
I'm just not that motivated.
You're still training?
Yeah, but I'm still training because I've built up habits, like you said, and my self-discipline is greater than my motivation at the minute.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I know that motivation comes and goes, but I'll still do my training. I'll still get in and do sessions. It might not be as enjoyable or as good as some of the sessions that I'm doing when I'm going through a period where I'm super motivated, but I'm still there and I'm still doing them. So don't think for 1 minute that myself or Matthew or most people that go to the gym a lot are always motivated. They're not.
You are when you're younger, right?
I think you're more motivated when you're younger.
When you've got a lot of free time, less stress, that sort of stuff, right?
Exactly. When you're a bit older, like me, you've got children, you've got other things on your plate.
How old are you, Barry? You're younger than me, aren't you?
Do you know I'm going to be 41 next week?
Are you? And you've had grey hair since you were 22?
I've had grey hair since I was
you opened the gym?
16, actually.
Have you actually?
Yeah.
Really? Went grey at 16? Crazy.
I was getting my hair cut and I had curtains. I had big, massive curtains. And I remember it to this day, the hairdresser, she goes to me, "You've got grey hair. I've just cut a couple of grey hairs." I'm like, oh, it must have been in like high school or something. I was like, what? But obviously, just a couple.
Obviously,
nobody saw
you
them.
suit it, to be fair, so it's all right. You know?
But now I've got the grey beard and the grey hair. I think I'm pulling it off. What do you think?
Yeah, you look fantastic, Barry. Look great.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You needed that, didn't you?
Anyway, we went 32 minutes, right? And you have still to mention the fact that your team
Yeah.
bet my team
Bet.
beat. Correct me, come on, Mr. Grammar.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, if we had done this podcast last week, I'd be on cloud 9 and I'd be rubbing it in your face. I did walk into
That's
the
why
gym.
I delayed it.
I'd walk into the
That's why I
gym,
delayed it.
and there's a couple of United fans, and I did go up to them and have a bit of a laugh. I did thoroughly enjoy it. So West Ham beat Man United 1-0. I think it's the first time we've beat you in God knows how long. It's the first time Moyes has beat you guys since 2012 when he was at Everton.
I like David Moyes, I have to say.
Davy Moyes. I'm not a big fan right now, but
he's
since
a
then
good
we
guy.
have had a struggle against what we're calling Alphabet FC, AZ Alkmaar in Europe, and then we also lost to Brentford at the weekend. So I can't really talk much anymore, but we did. West Ham beat Man United. What a time! A horrible goal. Laughing, loving it, fantastic.
I deliberately delayed this
You
this
wrote it on the top
episode
of your page, and I saw it.
so that you wouldn't spend the first 5 minutes speaking about
Talking
it.
about the mighty Hammers. Woo.
Yeah. Right, Matthew, question to finish.
Go on.
The listeners want to know what your favourite film is.
Oh, that's a hard one. I've said a hard one a lot today for all these questions. Favorite film, like ever, period.
Well, yeah.
God, I would say the film that I've watched the most of recently, like in the last couple of years, has been The King. It's on Netflix.
Okay, I don't think
About
I've...
Henry V. Oh God, this is when people are going to go, "Oh, Matthew."
Is this
people at my gym know
is
I
it
like
quite
the
a
fact.
serious film?
It's based off Shakespeare's play Henry V, so it's like a similar sort of interpretation of it. He was an interesting guy. He was the last warrior king of England, and he was the only king to ever rule France.
Interesting.
There you go.
I don't really want to tell you my favourite film now.
What is it? The B movie, Toy Story 2. Go on.
Cool Runnings.
Oh, okay. Kiss the Lucky Egg. That's a great film.
Yeah, do you like it? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No.
Cool Runnings is a great film. True story as well.
True story. It's a fantastic film. I love it. It's just a good fun, feel good film.
But
really,
you
isn't
loved
it?
Eddie the Eagle as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you? Did you watch it?
Yeah.
That's all right. Cool Runnings is world class. And again, if you have a younger audience, probably not. But if you haven't seen Cool Runnings, go watch it.
My boys have watched it. They like it.
Feel
They watch it
rhythm.
a lot.
Feel the rhyme.
Get on up. It's bobsleigh time.
time.
Right, guys, on that note, I think we'll finish.
Perfect.
It's been good speaking to you. Hopefully, we've answered some of the questions that you put to us and they made sense. If you have any other questions that we've not covered, then, just feel free to get in touch.
We'll answer them next time, yeah.
We'll answer them next time. But until the next episode, guys, keep working hard in the gym, stay motivated, get your self-discipline up, and look after yourselves.
Thank you for listening to the Starting Monday podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to follow us and share with your friends. Have a great day and see you at the next episode.